Welcome to the Double A to Z Sports Podcast, where we cover all things sports from stats and prediction, to the ultimate fighting octagon, to hitting a homer with a 3-0 count while being up by 7 or more runs after the 8th inning. We're bringing you a whole new dynamic of sports talk, a podcast that keeps you up to date with all sporting transactions, beef, drama, and rumors.
Lillard, long range three.
We're your hosts, two Ashtons and Zach Smith.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Double A to Z Sports Show. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Ashton. Joining with me, of course, is the other Ashton and Zach. Say hi to the folks, boys.
What's going on, guys?
How's everybody doing today? Zach, look like you got a little bit of a haircut. You know, you look decent today. You're not, no?
I got one last time, and you said I should get one, and I actually...
Oh, yeah. Anyway, whatever. Don't matter. Well, Ashton, you need a haircut too, man.
I think I'm good.
Yes, I think you're good.
I could go for years and not need a haircut.
Yeah, you can go years, I guess. But you still got to trim the beard. You know, the beard, I've seen you with a little bit of a bushy beard at times now. But, you know, let's start the day with some positive news here. Tiger Woods, you know, God forbid, Tiger Woods here had a terrible round today or like this tournament. But God forbid, almost a near-death experience, you know, almost dying in a car accident. He comes back returning. Was it only like 14, 15 months after what happened? It's incredible to see that. It was literally coming weeks after a report that he played entire 18 holes riding on a golf cart. So nobody thought he was coming back this soon. They thought he would return this year, but not as soon as he did. Thoughts on, you know, Tiger Woods making, you know, an incredible comeback. And even though he didn't play as good as he wanted to, you know, I think he's still happy that he's able to come back and compete.
It's always good when someone like that can come back. It's like there's a GOAT right now at every sport, and he's one of his. So yeah. It's always nice to see someone like that come back.
Who would you say is the GOAT of golf? That's a great kind of transition into that,
Tiger
I guess.
Woods is a home name. Everyone knows who Tiger Woods is. So
but can you disrespect Jack Nicholson and Arnold Palmer and not put them in that tier, though?
No, you could.
Yeah.
But I think if you asked anyone who, just a golfer, I bet you everyone says Tiger Woods.
Ashton, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think now today's golf game with the technology that they have now, I think the field is deeper than it was in the 60s and 70s when you know the older group was racking up their majors. So I think he changed golf, and those other guys didn't change golf. He was the one, you know, Tiger was one of the first ones to lift weights and make it a physical thing. So, I mean, he's definitely going to go down. There's nobody playing right now that will. Jordan Spieth had a little hot streak a couple of years ago, but now he's missing cuts. So you can't miss the cut of a major if you want to be the greatest.
You think Koepka might be able to slide up in that conversation if he keeps playing the way he's been playing? No. Okay.
No. I don't think there's anybody playing on tour right now. I mean, they might be alive. There might be an 8-year-old somewhere.
Charlie, Tiger's son.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the thing about is he going to be like the burned out golfer that, you know, he never plays?
Is he going to be the Jeffrey Jordan?
He's sick of it. Yeah.
Well, is he going to be the Jeffrey Jordan? You know, the Michael Jordan kid that, you know, goes to ECU and just, you know,
Florida. Florida.
Then, well, he also went to ECU, didn't he? Or one of his kids went to ECU.
No, Central Florida. And Illinois.
Oh, okay. They played against ECU, right?
ECU, yeah.
And he was at the game. That's right. Okay. I remember something like that. And, you know, I feel bad for, you know, the Michael Jordans, like of the world who are so good at their craft and their kids just, you know, didn't really want anything to do with it. So it's crazy to me to look back at that. But I'm very happy that Tiger Woods is able to, you know, go out and compete and end his career on his term and not, you know, by a freak accident, you know, caused by, even though it was his own injury, he caused it by, you know, excessive speeds. But still, you know, it's great to be able to see him come back and have that comeback story. So now let's talk a little bit about hockey. We have not talked hockey hardly at all on this channel, and I am a very big hockey guy. I love hockey. I'm a massive Carolina Hurricanes fan. I've been to tons of games over the last couple of years. My cousin actually goes to almost every home game, and he doesn't have season tickets, but I've encouraged him to get them. He's actually at the game tonight, so go Canes. But the Carolina Hurricanes actually clinched home ice throughout the playoffs. I think it was 2 days ago. But as the playoffs currently sit, let's see what the current playoff situation is for the NHL. NHL playoffs. If the season was to end today, that is, if it was actually to end today, you would have the. Let's see.
They clinched a playoff berth. I don't think they clinched home ice
Yeah,
because they're tied in their division right now.
Yeah, they're tied with Florida.
With Rangers.
But the Rangers
Florida's
in the division.
The other side of the conference.
And then they're tied with Toronto too. But
That's
Florida's
right.
got 108 points.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida Panthers are probably the best team in the NHL right now. Yeah. But the current matchup is right now Carolina and Tampa Bay, like I was talking about earlier with you guys. Tampa Bay being the reigning Stanley Cup champions 2 years in a row. Tough matchup for the Hurricanes right off the gates. And then the Eastern Conference matchups right here, as followed, are the Panthers and the Capitals. The Panthers are currently 51-15, and the Capitals are 40-22. I always want to see the Capitals lose as a Carolina fan. And every game this year, I think Washington has lost to them except for one game in November is what it looks like. Yeah, it was 5-4, 4-3, and then 5-4. Florida won 2 out of the 3. What are y'all's thoughts? Or Ashton, I don't even know if you're a really big hockey guy. Like, are you a?
Yeah, I've been to a couple games. Yeah.
Okay. So, what are y'all's thoughts on that first round matchup being if the season was to end today? It's not over yet. These could change. So, what is your thoughts on the Panthers and Capitals matchup? Let's go with that one first.
Capitals are always, no matter how bad they do in the regular season, they're still always going to be like
they're a playoff team.
And it's like being a Pens fan, you being a Canes fan, it's annoying having they're like one of the biggest rivals of the Pens because they're always the two that are like the best consistently. So I can see them I can see them winning just as much as I can see them losing because the Panthers have just been that good.
Yeah, the Panthers have had a great season, and I'm not knocking anything the Capitals have done, but as a Carolina fan, and you as a Pens fan, anytime the Capitals lose, we're both happy. Yeah, we both are super happy. But then let's jump to the Western Conference real quick. Calgary and Nashville, arguably actually the two of the best teams in the Western Conference are going to meet up in the first round. Calgary has 44; they're 44-19, and Nashville is 41-26. Nashville was the team last year. Was Nashville the team last year that made it to the Stanley Cup Finals? The Predators that played Tampa Bay, or who was it that made it last year? I don't think it was Colorado. Colorado's first in their division this year.
That's hitting me.
Oh, well, St. Louis. Was it the Blues? I think it was the Blues. Was it the Blues? It was the 2021 Stanley Cup Finals. Oh, it was Montreal.
That's it, yeah.
Montreal,
random,
my bad. Yeah, the random team that always happens. Because the Maple Leafs won, 3 years ago? I want to say. When did Toronto win last? It was recent.
Because all I know is the Pens played the Canadiens, and we were supposed to win, and then we blew it, and then they ended up making it to the finals for some reason.
Correct.
I knew it was some random team.
Correct. So Calgary, Nashville. Nashville has I should say had. They don't have a good goalie anymore. Had a good goalie. And now they've allowed, it looks like, how many goals have they allowed this year? Let's see. They're averaging about 2.55 goals against them per game.
Who's that, Nashville?
That's Nashville.
Yeah.
That's pretty high. Tonight. Yeah, it's pretty high. I mean, 2.55 goals a game is pretty high. Normally, most goalies are around 1.6, somewhere around that. But that's kind of high for the NHL. So I would give the favor to Calgary. And then let's just go over a couple more matchups. Just the top team, so that way we're not sitting here for 20 minutes going over over hockey. Toronto and Boston. That's a pretty interesting matchup again in the first round.
Yeah, Boston's like the Capitals. It's like no matter how bad they are, they're always
good.
You know?
Yeah, they're always good. I'm gonna have to give Boston the edge in that one, even though Toronto has a better record and on paper they're a better team. And Boston has lost to them both times in the year, but Boston's always that playoff team that just makes a push always ends up somehow being the gatekeeper in the Eastern Conference. I feel like. Agree or disagree on that statement?
Yeah, I agree, but I think the Maple Leafs obviously can, if they're obviously a better team, so I think they can still win. I don't want to count them out just because the name is Boston Bruins.
Yeah, that's the problem. And then we'll go with your team here, Zach. Rangers and Pittsburgh.
I don't have a lot of faith, but
I don't have any faith in you guys. You're 3-1 against them.
But I think playoff time, everyone turns around, so I can see them picking it up.
Yeah, it would be a great.
We haven't won a lot of playoff series in a while, so
it'll be great for you guys to finally win one. And I'm saying that as a Carolina fan. It would be great to see the Pittsburgh turn it around as good as the Pens used to be, or even as they still are. I guess Crosby to me is still one of the greatest top 5 of all time, in my opinion, to ever play hockey. So now let's go Tampa Bay, Carolina. That's a very interesting matchup. Defending 2-time defending Tampa Bay Lightnings of the Stanley Cup against the Hurricanes. Arguably, Carolina came out as probably the hottest start in NHL history and won like 17 in a row, and then, or even I think it was a little bit more than that. And then Carolina just started dropping games left and right. Now they're sitting at 46-18 with I think with 8 ties. But what are your thoughts on that one? Because Tampa Bay still has the best goalie probably in the history of the NHL.
when it comes to hockey, it's always so back and forth. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say baseball, but like any team can win at any moment. Like unlike the NBA, the first round is a waste of time because the best team wins every time. But like hockey, I feel like it's more, they're both team sports, but like hockey, I think you actually have to play like completely as a team. Like in basketball, you can get KD score 50 and you're gonna win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like having someone like in hockey, if the team's off, you're gonna lose, and if your team's better, you're not necessarily gonna win. But I think it's more interesting for playoff hockey. I think playoff hockey is like the best playoffs, honestly.
Yeah, I agree completely. I just want to point out, Andre Vasilevskiy, whatever his name is, the goalie, for Tampa Bay Lightnings. In the series against Carolina had a total of 222 shots on net with only a total of 5 goals the whole series against the Lightning. Insane, dude. Insane.
Pretty good.
That's like 97% of save percentage. That's insane. That is insane. And it's not like, they weren't good shots. They were like, good shots. I mean, Carolina has a great offense, and for that to happen was just very like crazy to me to see that happen. But all right, moving on from hockey, let's talk about the NBA. Something we all can kind of get involved in here. If the NBA playoffs are almost upon us, they are completely, brackets are completely sealed, completely done. Today's the last day of the NBA season, I believe, correct? Or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Is it today?
It was today, yeah.
It's today. So let's talk about the top seeds in the East and top seeds in the West, and then we'll go play in tournament. So top seeds in the East right now, you have number 1's Miami. Number 2 is going to be Milwaukee or Boston, depending upon the result of their tonight game, or of the game tonight. And actually, let me get a I don't know if that was completely correct. Let's see. No, that is correct. Okay.
Milwaukee lost to Cleveland today.
Depends on if Boston wins or loses. If Boston wins, they'll be the 2 seed. Number 3 will be Milwaukee or Philadelphia, because if Philadelphia loses, they'll be the 4. If they win, then they'll be the 3, and Milwaukee will be the 4. So it's crazy right there that you have a toss up for 2, but Philadelphia is not in the running for 2 because Boston won. So it all depends on if Milwaukee wins or loses. If they lose, then they'll be 3. And then if Philadelphia wins, they'll be 3, and Philadelphia will be 4, and Milwaukee will be 3. And Milwaukee doesn't have a chance, or Philadelphia doesn't have a chance to be 2, but Milwaukee has a chance to be 3. It's crazy, but Boston can jump from 4 to 2. Okay, but Philadelphia can't. NBA man. NBA man, yeah, tongue twister. All right, anyway, so number 5 is going to be number 5 is the Toronto Raptors, strong 5 seed. Number 6, also another super strong seed, is Chicago Bulls. We'll skip the play-in for now, and then we'll go to Western because we're going to have a conversation about the play-in tournament and why it sucks. 1, no surprise, Phoenix. No surprise, Phoenix. Number 2, very surprising seed at number 2 at the beginning of the year. Nobody expected them anywhere near, like I would say maybe top 10, but not like, at this number 2. It's the Memphis Grizzlies. That was a very surprise to most of the NBA fans. Ja Morant became a bona fide superstar this season, and it's been incredible to watch Ja play. Any thoughts on, like what you guys thought the Grizzlies were going to be and how they turned out? Obviously, it's a great thing.
I have a very... I treat them like the Timberwolves. I think they fall into the same category as Timberwolves. They're either just like a good team or they're butt. And this year is the good team aspect. And I see that staying that way for probably a while.
A while. Yeah, I'd say a while with Ja. That team is just going to be phenomenal. Ashton, what do you think about
they're better this year without him. They're like 18-2 this year without him.
Yeah, they have a great team. Yeah, they have a great team. They do have a great team.
Man. It's going to be hard to beat them 4 games.
Yeah,
it's still going to be hard to beat Phoenix in 4 games.
Oh, well, they ain't got to worry about that until the finals.
East is like way stronger than the West.
What's that, Zach?
This is like the first year the East is way stronger than the West.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
There's definitely more teams that can win it.
Here comes a hot take for me. I'm sorry, guys. Here comes a hot take. LeBron would not have had 10 straight finals appearances if he played in the West.
Oh, no. No, it's not even close.
Complete hot take. Sorry, not sorry. When you have losing teams at 8, 7, and 6, 7, and 8 for like 12 years in a row, of course LeBron's gonna have a freaking cakewalk to the finals. I always felt that, But hey. Unpopular opinion, but guess what? It's true.
I don't care. It don't matter.
It's definitely true. If LeBron played in the West, he never would have. I don't think he would have been in. I think he would have been in like 3 finals. I don't think he would have been in 10. Whatever it was, whatever his decade-long dominance was. Anyway, 3 is either Dallas or Golden State, and either of those will be 3 or 4. As a Mavericks man, I'd like to see Dallas at number 3, but Golden State's gonna be a tough team to beat if they're healthy. Is Curry back?
I think he comes back.
Yeah, I think they said he'd be back in the playoffs.
Is Klay Thompson playing too?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay,
he played the other night. He got like 33 the other night.
Yeah.
So what about is Draymond playing too?
Oh, I have no idea about Draymond.
I know
if Curry and Klay Thompson are playing together, that's a tough team to beat too. It don't matter who they have that's a tough team to beat.
Those 3 teams, I think the Suns, the Grizzlies, and the Warriors are the only 3 teams that I think can actually beat an East team. I think the top 6 teams in the East are better than literally everyone in the West.
You don't think Dallas can?
3. No.
You don't think Luka can will them to victory? As good as Luka is?
He hasn't willed a playoff team to victory at all. That's why I don't see it happening still.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, I think the top 4 in the East are better than the top 4 in the West. But I think the top 6 in the West. I mean, nobody's Toronto and Chicago ain't beat nobody. and they ain't beat nobody in the West. But if you look in the West, Utah and Denver could beat any team in the East.
Yeah, Utah and Denver are very good, especially Denver.
I think
Denver has, still for a couple more days the reigning MVP until somebody else becomes the MVP. Denver, still has the who? Joel.
I think it's gonna be Embiid.
I think it's gonna be Joel as well. If it's not Joel, it's I don't know who else it would be. Giannis maybe, but even then it's like I don't know who's second in running. Another surprising name that's in that conversation is DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan's name got thrown around in the MVP conversation. I think he got a couple of votes, but nobody's really. Again, it hasn't been announced who it is. Utah's a very interesting team as well. So Denver and Utah are 5 and 6, or either or. They can either be 5 or 6. Either team, you can flip them, swap. Can Utah or Denver, upset Memphis, Dallas, Golden State, Phoenix? Who can they upset any of the top teams?
The thing with the NBA is, like I said it before, like with hockey, NBA is like the best seed wins the first round, and then after that maybe something crazy can happen. But it's probably gonna be 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is typically what happens. And I think in the East it's gonna be the same way unless the Nets do something crazy. But other than that, I don't see anyone else doing anything.
Ashton, has he been living under a rock recently?
Why
have you been living under a rock? Because there was 2 teams last year that were 2 and 3 that lost in the first round.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
I think it was last year or the year before last. I think it was the year Toronto won the NBA championship. I don't think Toronto was a top 5 seed. They might have been a 5 because they ended up beating the 76ers, who were the 1 seed on the buzzer beater.
I think they were a 2 seed.
Were they a 2 seed?
Yeah, I think they were the 2 seed that year.
Then I take that back. I apologize. I take that back.
They had Kawhi. They had a squad that year.
Yeah, that team was good. I'm just trying to...
Kawhi.
Like I said, it's always the...
You're right. No, now that you're right. You're right. You are right. But this could be the year that it gets upsetted though.
Whew. No, I don't think
so. So let's go back to
last year there was one upset in the first round.
And who was that?
And it was the Hawks beating the Knicks, which wasn't really that crazy.
No, that's not.
I think Miami, if any of the top 4 in any, I think Miami is the most susceptible to lose.
I was about to say that because they are not their chemistry's off. Jimmy Butler's arguing with the coach. There's so many things happening in Miami that's we talked about this. I know, but you saw. We talked about this. You saw when the argument happened. What happened with Kyle Lowry?
Walked away.
He said.
Well, I'm not.
He said, "See ya." So as somebody that plays basketball with other people, and stuff like that, or played on teams. Whenever you have animosity between everybody, I don't know if y'all heard the story about Jeremy Lin and Kobe Bryant, but Jeremy Lin was talking about the year they played together, and they didn't talk the last 4 months they played together because something happened between a text message between the two of them, and Kobe just didn't want to speak to him ever again because it was all right, dude, you're doing nothing for me. That was the year Kobe came off as Achilles tear.
Yeah, and Kobe had that Michael gene, so in practice. Michael would.
He went at people, bro.
In the game. Yeah, but when somebody did that back to Michael in practice, when John Paxson or Steve Kerr did that back to him, it was a big deal, and Michael wanted to fight him. And Kobe did this. From what I understand, that's what happened with Lin. Is Lin was a gamer in practice too. He went all out, and Kobe didn't like him getting under his feet on jump shots and stuff like that, which I wouldn't either.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're a top 5 all NBA guy, give me some room to land and practice, dude. It's practice.
I'm the best player. Don't hurt me.
Yes.
But Jeremy Lin also said that season, because this is the year that you got to keep in mind. Kobe had the Achilles tear, and then the next season, literally the next season, he had the plantar fascia, and then he had 2 injuries back to back. And then this was the year he tore his rotator cuff. That was the year he tore his rotator cuff in the shooting arm. What? Yeah, he kept getting beat up. So this was that season, the year he tore his rotator cuff. And he was playing with Jeremy Lin, Carlos Boozer. I mean, it was literally like the worst Lakers team I've ever seen like suit up, right? And Kobe Bryant had to shoot like 40 shots a game just to keep them competitive. I mean, it wasn't like, he went down and he passed the ball to somebody else and they could score. It wasn't like Jeremy Lin was coming up the floor, pulling up 30-footers like, he was when Linsanity was happening, or getting to the basket and scoring 20 a game. No, this dude was averaging like 10 points a game and like 5 assists. This was the year Marcellus Huertas did the behind the back shot from like the 3-point line. You remember when he heaved it behind him? Like, that was that year. And Kobe was just sitting on the bench just like, bro, like, what in the world? So Kobe's like, I got to shoot 30, 40 shots just to keep us competitive. And Jeremy Lin had said something in an interview, like literally weeks before that, and this what started it, was that Jeremy Lin said that Kobe had shot them out of the game a couple of times. Like, bro, I'm sorry. You don't say that about Kobe, even if he is like, shooting you out of the game. You don't say nobody else can score. Like, what? Of course he's gonna shoot you out of the game because you can't score. So it's like that's my thoughts on that situation.
The best NBA like meme is from that season.
Oh, the Boston game.
Yeah, when like it was like 3 seconds left in the third, and like there was 3 Lakers wide open. And Kobe gets the ball at half court, and there are literally like 4 or 5 Celtics on him, and he heaves like a 30-footer, and like 3 guys are under the basket, like, you can pass it.
Dude, this was the year we had Roy Hibbert, and Roy Hibbert was supposed to be like, the greatest like thing since Andrew Bynum that we had picked up, and I was super excited, bro. I mean, I was excited. I was like, dude, we got Roy Hibbert. I was like, all right, this dude averaged 3 a game, man. This dude averaged 3 a freaking game. And Roy Hibbert was like an all-star like 2 years before that. That's why I was excited. And now he's not even in the damn league. And it's like, bro. But yeah, I was excited for that year. But no, I'm talking about the Boston game when they lost like in Staples. Like, I think they lost like 20 in a row in Staples that year. And they finally won a game. And it was like, they were like freaking out. They were just like interviewing Jeremy Lin, and it was when like Swaggy P came up and was like, y'all thought we was out of the building, and like they showed it to Kobe, and Kobe was just like,
yeah, I remember.
And Jimmy Kimmel was like, would there be a celebration if you were there? And Kobe didn't even say anything. He was like, dude, he's just like shaking his head. I'm like, damn, man. That's how you know it was bad. That's how you know it was bad. But anyway, all right, let's get back to the play-in tournament here. 7, 8, 9 in the Eastern Conference, and 10, my bad, is Brooklyn, Cleveland at 7 and 8. 9 and 10 are Atlanta and Charlotte. If there's any team, I'll say there's 2 teams in that play-in tournament that can make some noise. And unfortunately, I don't know if because you said 7 plays 8, right, and 9 plays 10.
Yeah. So Brooklyn will play Cleveland, and then the loser of that will play the winner.
Why wouldn't Brooklyn just play Charlotte and Cleveland play Atlanta, and the winner of those 2 get? Like, why wouldn't they just do something like that?
Because you need 2 people. I agree with that, but you want the best team to come out as a 7th seed. So if Brooklyn plays Cleveland, if Brooklyn wins, they're the 7th seed. Then Cleveland will play the winner of Atlanta and Charlotte, and they'll be the 8th seed.
Okay, so here's my thing.
It's not going to be Cleveland. It's going to be Brooklyn and Atlanta. I have a feeling.
I wish it was Cleveland. I was about to say
Cleveland
this.
Cleveland is garbage.
No, they're not. What? Cleveland's got a great team.
They're like 2 and 8 in their last 10.
That's because Colin Sexton got hurt. It's because Colin Sexton got hurt.
Has Jesus laid hands on him?
Jesus laid hands on him? Yeah, unfortunately not. You're right. Yeah. Sure. Who knows, dude? He might pull the Kobe mentality and come out and play with Tornacial. I don't know.
I'm not going to say anything because Brooklyn is so up and down that who knows. I mean, really, who knows?
Well, is Ben Simmons playing? Because he don't know how he's playing.
No.
They said he might play in the first round.
I don't know. Dude, you're gonna throw in him and take the ball to Kyrie's hands? Like, I mean, that's crazy talk, dude. You want to take the ball to Kyrie's hands or Kevin Durant's hands? The team that's gotten you there?
No.
Well, you got to remember, Simmons is great defensively.
So yes, he's almost 7 foot. Yeah, he's a 7 foot point guard. It's crazy.
He brings more to the table on defense than he does on offense, for sure.
See, I think Ben Simmons with today's league, today's league, like I was saying, Ben Simmons can guard all 5 just because of his size. Now he's not gonna stop, the best of the best like Jokic, Embiid. He's not gonna be able to guard them obviously in the paint, but I mean he can guard, the 6'5" centers nowadays or whatever they are. You know what I mean? Like he can stop those guys and rebound over them. So like today's league he can play all 5, but like, when there's a superstar in the paint, he ain't guarding them. So yeah, I agree he can change the game defensively. It's another Scottie Pippen to me. Like for that team, I feel like he's a Scottie Pippen, like somebody that you can.
He's a glorified role player.
And if I'm Brooklyn, I want to be 8 because you don't want anything to do with Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee, I think, has spanked Brooklyn.
You'd rather play the Heat.
You'd rather play the Heat?
I would much rather play Miami in the first round than Milwaukee. Yeah. But then you go, I mean, if Charlotte beats Atlanta, Charlotte's, I think, 2-1 against Brooklyn this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know that you would.
Well, Charlotte's also got a sleeper team. Like Gordon Hayward's coming back into his own little by little this year. LaMelo Ball's playing phenomenal.
He's not going to play in the play-in tournament. Gordon Hayward's not. He's out.
Well, he'll be ready for the playoffs, but he wouldn't be ready for the play-in game. Is what I think it was.
Not the play-in tournament.
Yeah. But hopefully he gets back because also as a Charlotte fan, my team in the East because represent North Carolina. Yeah. I would like to see Charlotte do good. And let's move to the Western play-in team. My team to beat.
Spurs.
My team to beat. I'm gonna wear the shirt until we lose. It's probably gonna be the first game, unfortunately. But we are the 10 seed.
The Spurs might be the worst team in the playoffs.
We are the 10 seed.
I looked up a roster.
For Spurs, you don't know anybody.
Recognize not a single.
You don't know anybody probably besides Javonte Murray, and that's it. That's it. First year All-Star, by the way. So hey, we got a little bit of good stuff going for us. We got Keldon Johnson up and coming. We got a little bit of people. We can get the. I was hoping we would take this year and get Jalen Duran or Chet Holmgren. I was hoping it would happen, or Jabari Smith, but it don't look that way. Popovich said no, we're gonna win. I'm like, oh, Pop, no. Let's get another Tim Duncan, please. But 7 Minnesota. That's a tough 7 seed though. 8 LA Clippers, 9 New Orleans, and 10 San Antonio. So with New Orleans. It's a very interesting scenario because Zion hasn't played in almost a year. So do you what's the as it? All right. So here's the thing, Ashton. Yeah. Ashton, you're the general manager now of the Pelicans. All right, put yourself in his shoes.
Trade him for a second rounder.
At this point, I mean, you've paid him what, $10 million? And he's played 3 games.
I mean, you got to get rid of him. New York wants him to get New York's first-round draft picks for this
dude weighs almost 400 pounds now. He's 380.
He can lose that. I'm not worried about that. Once he starts playing, he'll lose that weight. If you look at pictures of him over the last 3 years, he's like me at Thanksgiving. He'll gain 20 or 30 pounds over the holidays and then lose it back. I'm not worried about his weight, but the problem
is... He's like you before you started Insanity.
Yeah, exactly. The problem with Zion is the times that he's heavy is the times that's messing him up because he's walking around with all that weight on his weak little joints. I mean, instead of taking care of his body 24/7.
Do you recall, I think it was in 2011 or it might have been 2012. It was after the Lakers had won back-to-back titles. And it was the year after, Kobe told Pal he needed to bulk up so they could play Boston. Well, it was after they played Boston, Pau Gasol said he felt really bad because he was overweight. He was, bigger. He wasn't used to it. So Pau Gasol cut, 30 or 40 pounds. And he came back the next season. I think it was the year after Dwight left the Lakers. And that next season, when it was his last year on the Lakers, was his really, one of his last really good years in the league, where he averaged 18 a game. And then he went to the Bulls, and there he averaged about 16, 17 for 2 seasons. And he went to the Spurs. And Pau Gasol looked like he was less than 200 pounds at one point, just because how tall he was. I mean, he was obviously over 200 pounds, but he just looked like he lost all that weight. And he said he felt so great. I mean, he said he felt so great because he lost all of it and his joints were better. You think Zion needs to just, cut it?
I don't think he's happy in New Orleans. So I think he has no motivation to do it.
Okay.
I mean, really, I think if he was playing for a contender and somewhere that I feel like he was happy, I feel like he'd have played this year.
You think if he went to New York and he teamed up with RJ Barrett, former Duke teammate, he would.
eat him alive. Like, he will not be able to have a slice of pizza without somebody running a picture of him with grease dripping down his chin. I mean, he's the best thing for him is in New Orleans. It's a small media market. I mean, he is God there, and he don't realize what he's asking for. When he goes to one of these bigger media markets, they're going to eat him alive.
So, I mean, he has the perfect tandem there with Brandon Ingram. I mean, he has the perfect.
I think the Pelicans have a good roster.
That's what I'm saying. He has the perfect opportunity. They need him to play, because if he played, dude, they would easily be, in my opinion, top 5. In my opinion, if he played, if Zion could play, they would be top 5. Zion is a beast. Like, trust me, as a Duke fan, Zion is a beast. He's unstoppable, dude. The game he had against Taco Fall. And keep in mind, Zion's only like 6'6", 6'7", and like Taco Fall's 7'6", and he held Taco Falls to like 20 points. That's incredible.
He's not an NBA player.
No, but still, he's 7'6".
That is his career high as well. So a lot of people have held him under 20 points.
Yeah, but Zion's 6'6". You know, he's a whole foot taller than him.
I think his potential is very, very, very high.
And Taco Fall should be an NBA player. He should be an NBA player, dude. Like, dude, if you're 7'6", if I'm 7'6", I'm sorry, I'm making a roster somewhere. That's in the discussion. But you know,
there's a reason there's not any though. Like, Boban doesn't even play that much.
It's crazy because Boban's a beast. Boban is nasty. When he played for the Spurs, dude, and he came in the last couple of minutes, they fed him the ball and he dunked all over people. But he can only, like, Boban's problem is that he's so tall and lanky, his joints can't handle more than like 10 minutes a game. That's his problem. Boban's openly admitted that.
And the NBA now is all about speed. Yeah, and it's back
shooting,
and forth, and those big guys, man, you can't.
They can't get up and down.
No, they're not.
Yeah, you can't get up and down.
Embiid is borderline.
Yeah,
Embiid's different though. Like,
well,
Embiid's built.
He's like Embiid.
He can move. Yeah. Embiid can move. Embiid. I don't know if you've seen the video of him playing Tatum. Yeah, well, I don't know if you've seen the video of him playing Tatum 1-on-1, like in the offseason, like a year ago. Dude, he was cooking Jason Tatum. He was cooking him off the dribble, and it was like, bro. No, it wasn't even a body. It was just like, dude, it was like, he was just off the dribble, step back, spin moves. Like, and I was just like, I didn't realize Embiid could move like that. And it was like, dude, it woke me up. I was like, holy crap, Embiid can play off the dribble like that? Holy crap. Like, dude, he has like setbacks, reverse like counters, and a whole bunch of stuff. Aspen counters to a counter. And I'm like, bro. Anyway, Minnesota, the 7th seed. That's an interesting team. Karl Anthony Towns, arguably top 5 centers in the league now. Arguably, top 5. He has D'Angelo Russell. They just haven't really, had a great season together.
Tony Edwards,
Anthony Edwards. Are they one piece from being a championship team, or are they a championship team now? If everything clicks.
They're definitely something away from a championship team. I don't know what it is, but it's not. They're not one right now.
I think they need a point guard. They need a true point guard.
Minnesota's not going to spend money to have a big three.
They have one.
Theoretically,
they have a young three. They have a young three. They have a young three with potential. Because all three players I just named.
All three of those guys aren't going to resign there because they're not going to pay them what those three guys think.
Well, they're already. Deserve. Well, so here's the thing: Anthony Cat, and D'Angelo Russell are already making like $34 million a year. That they're already making that. So the problem is that their cap space isn't going to allow them to resign Anthony Edwards. So their question's going to have to be.
He has a while though.
He has I think he has 2 years. He has a 2-year team option. I think after next season he has that too. He has 4 years with them at least. But the question is, like, how are they going to pick up? I don't think they have a point guard. D'Angelo Russell, to me, is not a point guard. D'Angelo Russell needs to be the guy that, because he brings the ball up and he passes it, he goes on a floppy and he gets an open three. He's not a point guard. Stop it. Stop it. I'm talking like, a Chris Paul. Like, they need a point guard. Like, to me, at least.
Go out and find one.
You gotta go out and find one. Russell Westbrook. I'm sorry. Sorry, Russell, if you're listening. Don't get mad at me, Russell. Don't kick me out. Don't kick me out of the game, Russell. Don't throw me out because your butt hurt that you can't shoot a mid-range shot or a three. All right. So now that we covered that, let's talk about another NBA news. The Sacramento Kings or as Shaq would call them, the Sacramento Queens. Let go Luke Walton back in November. Yes, let go their head coach, Luke Walton, former Lakers head coach, as well as an assistant with the Warriors. And 125, he was actually the coach that started off the 72, or was it 7? It was 73-9. The 73-9 season where they won 27 in a row, and they were all under Luke Walton. Unfortunately, those 27 wins didn't go to him. They all went to Steve Kerr. Selfish reasons, I guess. But Steve Kerr was nowhere in.
Or the fact that he was the head coach.
What?
Steve Kerr was
Luke
the head
Walton
coach.
Or Steve Kerr? Yeah, he was, but Steve Kerr wasn't even in the building. He was gone. He wasn't there. It does, dude. If I was coaching and I was the one on the bench there, I better get the fucking wins.
No, that's not how it works.
Like Tim Duncan is 2-0 as a head coach in the NBA. Tim Duncan has a record of 2-0 because Greg Popovich couldn't coach 2 games, and Tim Duncan got 2 wins, and he is 2-0 officially as a head coach. Luke Walton should have been 27-0, and Steve Kerr was selfish, is what it was. In my opinion, that's my. So tell me why Tim Duncan's 2-0 and Becky Hammon's 1-1.
I don't know if that's official though.
No, that's official. It's official. Greg Popovich gave them the wins. Because Popovich is selfish.
Does not have the head coach does not have a power to say who gets.
Yeah, I think the league said it was Popovich. I would put money on it.
Go look at it. Tim Duncan has officially a 2-0 head coaching record, and Becky Hammon's 1-1. I promise you, I'm 100% right because I know that for a fact as a Spurs fan. That Greg Popovich gave it to Tim Duncan. And the head coach has that decision, and that's why Steve Kerr said, no, it won't. They're my wins. Steve Kerr got mad about it. Like that was the thing. I promise you, Tim Duncan is 2-0 or 1-0. He's either 1-0 or 2-0 as a head coach in the NBA, and Becky Hammon's 1-1. Becky Hammon's 1-1. I mean, you found the Tim Duncan stuff probably. Go ahead and say that Tim Duncan stuff's true because it is. He's 1-0 or 2-0. It's either 1-0 or 2-0.
I keep finding his actual stats from playing. I can't find anything.
Just type in Tim Duncan head coaching record, and it'll say 1-0 or 2-0. It's an official stat.
I'll have you know, it does not say anything.
All right.
Trust me, Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan coaching record 1,001 and 391.
Yeah, I said that's definitely not
that's
right.
Popovich's record. Tim Duncan filling in for Greg Popovich gets first win as acting head coach.
Guess if that counts.
It did. He's 1-0. He won 104 to 103. I think Tim Duncan didn't return to the Spurs this season because Tim Duncan. I think yes, Tim Duncan might be 42 years old. But there was rumors that he was guarding players in practice and he was scoring like on them every time. So I think Tim Duncan took this season to like reflect on if he wants to actually come back for a year. I think Tim Duncan might come back next season. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. I think Tim Duncan might come back next season because I think, dude, he looks great. His shape, he looks great. No, but he looks great as far as like his physique and everything. He looks great. I think Tim Duncan.
The Spurs.
That dude, it don't matter. They need him. We need him. If Tim Duncan came out of retirement and said, "Hey, I'm going to play 1 year for the Spurs," their record would flip. It would just be like they would be a top 4 team. I'm sorry, they would. It's Tim Duncan, bro.
You're kidding, but
who would stop him? Besides, the top centers, who would stop him? Name one. Name one team that could hold him to 30 points. Name one team.
Every team could hold him.
No. No. If Tim Duncan posted,
way too old.
Dude, I'm sorry.
His right and his left knee would hold him under 20 points.
I could agree to that. It would be his body. It would hold him back. But at least Ashton, at least tell him that there is no team, like team-wise player that can hold Tim Duncan under 20 right now, or 25 or 30.
I for sure can't say that.
I think
I've got too much integrity to say those words right now.
I think Tim Duncan can come out of retirement. I think he might.
And score.
I think he might. I think Tim Duncan literally last season was sitting on the bench just like, oh my gosh, like please, just like, because you could see him like grabbing a towel and twisting it at times. And I was like, he wants to play so bad. You could just see in his face. Because the first year he retired, he was working with LaMarcus Aldridge. And LaMarcus Aldridge said he was cooking him every day in practice. Like he said he could not stop Tim Duncan. And like Ginobili signed on as a special assistant this season to help with player development. And all the players with them were like, dude, we can't even stop a 48-year-old or 44-year-old Manu in practice. And I'm like, dude, we have no chance if we can't stop a 44-year-old Manu. Like, dude,
team, so.
like, dude, we have no chance in hell. But yeah, that was funny to me. Anyway, so now let's move on again back to the Kings. Sorry, we didn't even get that out. So the Kings fired Luke Walton after I think it was like a 1-17 start of the season. Alvin Gentry took over. They're still, I think, low end of the totem pole. The Kings recently said Alvin Gentry's not coming back as head coach. Who are your guys' favorites? Some of the favorites that are pointing around right now is Mike Woodson, Mike D'Antoni, and I think the other one is David Fizdall. So
I'm going to say this was a little bit of screech talk, and I'll defer to that, but I think it's time to give Becky Hammon a head coaching job.
Yes.
I think she's proved herself.
Yes.
I mean, what in the world do the Kings have to lose? They are not a playoff team. Give her a shot. All right.
Does this bring back the argument? I'm going to say this. I'm sorry for anybody listening. Will that cement the Shaq conversation with the Sacramento Queens? Will they get the laughing stock of that? Like,
no, she wouldn't.
As bad as that sounds, I don't think she would either. Like, but I mean, like, dude, that would be so horrible to hear that though. Like, think about that. They signed Becky Hammon, and then everybody makes a joke that they're the Sacramento Queens. It would be so horrible to hear that. What
is the Kings are just, I think, a bad team in general.
So they have good players. They have a good young players.
Every team in the league has good players, but like I think the Kings have less good players. But if Becky Hammon were to go there, and the Kings would suck still, all credibility would lose for female head coaches. And
that's a problem. That's a lose-lose situation for her.
I know,
it's a win-lose situation.
What is she going to wait for? Like Brooklyn?
That's the problem.
You can't wait for a contender. You've got to bite the bullet and take a sucky team to continually firing coaches.
She has to make the Kings successful.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then
they can't be any worse. I mean, they're not going to be 12-70.
I think the big trade that the Kings shouldn't have made was acquiring Domantas Sabonis and trading who was it, Marvin Bagley. I don't think they should have made that move.
They traded their future, their Halliburton, I think, right?
And they traded Halliburton. And they traded Bagley and Halliburton for Domantas Sabonis and some other. I think it was Dante DiVincenzo. That's who it was, DiVincenzo. I don't think that was the right move. Like, I don't know why you would trade Bagley to begin with. He's, you got to give him time to progress.
I think Bagley's average, but like
you got to give him time to progress, dude. He's 6'11" and can play like Kevin Durant. You got to give him opportunity.
Halliburton has been really good, and they just got rid of him for
they got rid of him for
older player. Halliburton has been he was making to be like a really good
Halliburton
player.
was DiVincenzo, or was it Sabonis? I think it was the bonus trade.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was I said it. I think it was the Sabonis trade.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, it wasn't Dante DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo was traded for I don't think it was Bagley.
Bag of chips.
Yeah, he was traded for literally nothing, which is crazy that Milwaukee got rid of Dante DiVincenzo. He's another Matthew Dellavedova type gritty player. I like him. But Becky Hammon's a good name to throw out there. Zach, who do you think if they're if it's not Becky Hammon, who is it? Mike D'Antoni, Mike Woodson, David Fizdall, David Yorger is another person they're talking about bringing back. Former coach of the Kings, David Yorger.
It just feels like a whole bunch of underperforming head coaches.
Well, Mike D'Antoni's not. Mike D'Antoni's got with the Lakers. Well, with the Lakers, he underperformed because he tried to take a bunch of 30-year-olds to run the 7-second offense. It was never going to work. That was so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
feel like they could put anyone in there. It's not going to be great.
All right, I'm going to have my own little second here. Sorry. 2012-13 Lakers literally went 0-5. They fired Mike Brown without giving an offense a chance. They hired Mike D'Antoni, who just came out of knee surgery. All right. And Mike D'Antoni comes in with a 34-year-old Kobe Bryant, a 35-year-old Pau Gasol, a 37-year-old Steve Nash, and expects to be able to run the 7-second offense with a pick-and-roll guy with Dwight Howard and put Pau Gasol on the perimeter. And Pau Gasol is probably a better post-up player at the time, than Dwight Howard. 100%. Why in the world was Mike D'Antoni their decision? Kobe never really played pick and roll his whole life. He was an isolation post-up player in the triangle offense. Pau Gasol's not a pick and roll guy. Pau Gasol's not a perimeter guy. He's a post up guy. Dwight Howard, sure, pick and roll guy. I'll give you that. It wasn't a back you up post up guy either. So, pick and roll guy. I'll give you that one. Steve Nash, pick and roll guy. Sure. Isolation player. Sure. I'll give you that. But why? Why did you not hire Phil Jackson? Why? That team was perfect for the triangle. Why? Tell me why. Anybody can tell me why. Go ahead. Tell me why. I'll wait.
Fun.
Phil Jackson couldn't coach from a hospital bed.
Phil Jackson was okay. Well, D'Antoni had knee surgery.
He could barely walk upright. He's like Bigfoot. Have you seen him walk like in the last 5 years?
Yeah. Well, he made a demand. He said that if he became head coach, I'll never forget this. He said that Scottie Pippen had to be his associate head coach, and he would coach the away games. That Phil Jackson couldn't make the away games. Of the away games.
Chair is like one of those.
I think that would be a waste.
And his chair on the bench is like one of them lift chairs that you hit a button and it like stands you up. I mean, come on.
Is it really?
Let the man live in Montana and smoke weed and die peacefully.
Makes sense to me.
Oh man, I wish he would have had a better run with the Knicks though. As good as a person as he was, but is what it is. But now let's talk a little bit about baseball. Robert Manfred sent all of the players on opening day. Sent them all headphones and a letter of appreciation. Here's what the letter says. The letter says, at the top, it has I'm not going to show it on screen, unfortunately, because, copyright, stuff like that. But, at the very top, it has the 2022 opening day and the MLB logo. And it says, as we get ready to start a new season, I wanted to take a moment to send a note of appreciation. Being a major leaguer is an extraordinary accomplishment that beyond your remarkable talent shows your dedication to this great game. Along with our clubs, I'm committed to working together with all players to grow the sport. I'm excited about the opportunities that lie ahead by working together. I know we can bring the game to new heights. Please accept this gift as a small gesture of my appreciation for the hard work that comes with being a major leaguer and your respect for our incredible fans. Thank you for everything you do in a game that has such a rich history and deep meaning to our fans in the U.S. and around the world. Wishing you the best during the best of luck for a successful regular season. Sincerely, signed, Rob. Just Rob. Rob Manfred, Commissioner of Baseball. This dude has the audacity. All right, stop. I'm gonna take the player side of this. This dude has the audacity to hold out on the game. And then says that the players were the one to cave, by the way, and meet the owner's demands because they wanted to play baseball. Like we had this conversation on the talk before that players were about to sign overseas contracts. They were very close to like Chris Bryant was one of them. There was I think it was another big name was who was it? Bryce Harper was another one that was moments of days away from signing overseas. But Rob Manfred has the audacity to send this to the players after just holding baseball back for so long. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Owners seem to have a very big thing about being the worst people ever.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell. And here we go.
Just say it. Just say it. Just say it.
No, you already know. Everyone knows how I feel about baseball. I think it's the worst ran organization across all the major sports. And I don't even think it's close, actually. And I think doing that was kind of kick in the face.
It really was. It was
my
a slap
question
in the
is
face.
This. What would you want them to do? There's so many players. Did you want them to give them all Rolls Royce? I mean, do you want to give them a car, Tesla?
No,
if he didn't do, the problem is if he didn't do anything, then there would be a group of people complaining. Oh, we signed this new deal that gave increased the averages, increased guaranteed signing bonuses if you're drafted in any one of the 600 rounds that they have now. Guaranteed signing bonuses. So I think the owners are billionaires but I mean, Manfred serves at the pleasure of the owners.
Yeah, for the owners.
So they're his boss. So I mean, but Manfred is only worth $45 million. If he did this by himself, or I'm sure the owners didn't have a part of it, But like, what would be a good gift?
I mean, headphones. No, headphones. No. It's not the gift part. It's the letter that he wrote by saying that kind of like the note that it was kind of like the slap in the face to me. The gift's fine. Like I'm okay with the gift. If I was a major leaguer, yeah, thank you for following our demands. Is basically what it was. And it was like to me, it was go
think the players didn't get everything they wanted. The owners didn't get everything they wanted. I think it. I don't know. I mean, I just don't think the players are like, oh, we got stifled and we're back playing. If you get drafted 600th, you get a guaranteed signing bonus. That's never happened before. There's a lot of kids playing in Jones County, North Carolina, that might get drafted 600 and get a $50,000 signing bonus. I mean,
that's great. That's great. I'm okay with that, but that's great. But here's the problem: the minor leaguers. I had a cousin, and you had a cousin because he's related to you that played in the minor leagues, and he made $1,000 a month in AAA. That's like why you couldn't even live off that, dude. That's insane. A minor league contract, they don't get paid, and that was the problem that they had. It wasn't like for the big leaguers; it was for the minor leaguers.
No. It was the big leaguers don't give a double damn about no minor leaguers. They wanted the bigger piece of the pie because it was Bryce Harper. It was all these top 10 guys that want we're the draw. We want 50% of the pie at least. They can say it was now because they don't want to look like aristocrat oligarchs.
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree with that.
This was a power play by the top 10% of players to like we're not. Yeah. I just signed a $280 million contract. If that guy was worried about what the minor leaguers get paid, he would have signed a $140 million contract.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but I guess you're right in that regards. But
the players can take care of the players better than the owners can take care of the players.
Well, here's my problem. As somebody that has had family that played in the minor leagues. It's insane to me to see like what the minor leaguers make. They play almost as much games as the MLB. I mean, they play like 80 games less. They play almost 130 games. Yeah. Like it's insane, and they make $1,000 a month. Literally, like my cousin in double and AAA. In AA, he made $927. That's it. That's after taxes. That's after taxes. $972. You cannot live off that. No matter where you're at, you cannot live off that.
And you won't because you only get paid that during the season.
Yeah, it was only for half a year. So, like, he had to go work. So he worked at Subway for crying out. He worked at Subway and, like, worked at Subway for like, off days and everything else. And it was like, dude, and they were very accommodating to all of his needs. Like, Subway was very great with it. I don't know if the team set it up or however it worked out, but, like, dude, he worked at Subway on his off days. Like, it was crazy. And I'm like, bro, like, do what?
Some wacky stuff.
Yeah, but, like, the minor league needs to change. Like, the minor league baseball system.
I know after
the revenue's there. Players, well, hold on. The revenue's there to pay the minor leaguers. Everybody goes to baseball games. Like, I mean, when was all right?
I think they need less minor leaguers. I think way too many teams, way too many games. AA, AAA. I think you just need one little league.
I don't.
The problem with minor leagues, let's say the Down East Wood Ducks, their
attendance is great.
I know, but you're paying $5 a piece.
Yeah,
that don't pay.
You're right.
For one guy's salary.
You're right.
The average, the range in 2020, the range of minor league baseball salaries went from $19,000 to $200,000, with the median being around $50,000 a year. Now, I would say
hold on. No, hold on. That's because they're signing players out of the Dominican Republic at 18, 19 years old and paying them $25 million. Or 20, a couple million.
The Dominican guys and the Cuban guys and all that drives down. These guys, if you've ever been to spring training, I used to go to Atlanta Braves spring training all the time in Orlando, and they had guys, they bring them up here when they're 15 and 16.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They signed them to $200,000 contracts.
No, they don't. They sign them for nothing. They give them a bus ticket and a plane ticket to get up here. You can talk to them. They'll walk by. That's what drives the price down to that $19,000.
Yeah.
They don't give them anything. They give them a place to stay, and they gave them a plane ticket to get there.
So I was told by my cousin the reason he didn't play in AAA was because when he got the AAA, there was and he played right field, by the way. He played right field, and he said that when he got the AAA, that there was a right fielder or 2 or 3 outfielders that were signed out of the country that were making $2.5 million per year, and it was and he was better than them. He was 100% better than them. Stats showed it. I mean, my cousin, our cousin, hit like I think 4 homers in like his 7 at bats in his AAA career, but like they just didn't play him because they didn't have the money invested in him. It was a political game once you got past a certain level because they had all this money invested in this dude to succeed, and he didn't succeed.
I think once you get, I think if they gamble on a 17 or 18-year-old kid,
and that was the problem that he ran into.
Yeah, then they're going to ride him out rather than playing a 24 or 25-year-old. Because when you're 24 or 25, you're not going to make a splash into the majors. You either do that when you're young or pretty close to win. I mean, Lonnie didn't spend a lot of time in the minors.
Oh, Lonnie spent like a year or two. Yeah. Well, Lonnie. Well, all right. I don't want to bash my friend here, but I'm going to tell you right now, Lonnie had no business being in the MLB. He had no business playing in the MLB. He batted like 192 against off of lefties. He had no business being in the MLB, and he batted less than 200 off or less than 300 off of righties. He was not, and he made so many errors at third base. But like still, I commend him for making to that level, and I wish I could have got to that level. But like, dude. And then on top of that, Zach, I know you're going to go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Just say what you said about the Pittsburgh Pirates with Lonnie. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you're talking about him?
Yeah, he stole money from the Pirates for like 2 years.
Pirates are the worst organization, though.
Yeah, he stole money from the Pirates.
Yeah, he stole like
$3 million from him. Like, dude, it was crazy. But like, he sat on his butt and didn't do anything. But like, and if he ever comes on the show, I love him. But like, I'm gonna ask him why he did it. Like, it's controversial. I'm gonna ask him. But
if Pittsburgh wants to pay me $5 million next year, tell them I'm coming.
That's what I'm saying.
You ain't gonna turn down.
He's warming up the arm. He's warming up the arm. He's like, let me get my curveball arm ready. Look at him. Oh man, no, like I think. Go ahead.
Baseball like prides itself on their players union, but if I was a young player, I mean, does Tatis need $240 million?
No.
So why not? Like, I like how I don't know what state's doing it, but that name, image, and likeness. Like, if you're a player for a University X and you get a $20,000 NIL, half of it goes into the pot for the other people, and it ain't going to be much, but man, it might get them $500 a week. But why can't if these guys, if Harper's like, oh man, Harper don't do shit.
Zach, put those guns. Zach, put those guns away. We can't have your guns online. But yeah, put them away. Yeah, I agree with you, dude. I think a lot of the MLB millionaires, like the top players, just need a reality check. Like most of them do need a reality check because like.
And see what it is, I think, is some of them have been through the crappy bus rides from Kinston to Fredericksburg or from Memphis to freaking Columbus or wherever. And so they're like, oh man, that's a rite of passage. We had to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of, they could fix it. If everybody gave 5% of their pay, the minor league would be fixed.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
I mean, everybody would have a livable wage. You wouldn't have to work for your dad's tire shop in the off season or landscaping business or Subway. I mean, it would be easy to fix, but once that check is in your name, man, it's hard to say, here, take a little bit. The government's getting this piece. I'm going to give a little bit more so Johnny come lately can have an air-conditioned leather bus seat instead of the window down. I mean, it's just not going to happen. It's not human nature.
You ever seen the movie Major League? I feel like everybody's seen the movie Major League.
Talk. Or Bull Durham. Bull Durham's a great one.
Well, hold on. So in Major League, I don't know if you remember the bus that the Indians had. like the bus they got on, where it was like looked like the little metal van and the windows rolled down. It was like that's what I imagine like all minor league teams have. They don't even have like nice buses. It's like those those little buses.
Follow the Wood Ducks on Instagram and look at their shit.
Is it bad? Mad. Is it bad?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's great. Oh,
it's like
great.
A luxury bus. Like leather reclining seats. It's like, what are we complaining about?
Oh,
but
well,
anyway, sorry, I defer. I mean, I know it's bad for some people. Some people sign shitty contracts. I mean, I hate to say it.
Scottie Pippen.
And I mean, that's and that's just how it happens. You sign a shitty contract, man.
Scottie Pippen signed a contract with the Bulls for like I think it was the 10-year deal that was like only like, and I'm gonna say only because he should have been paid a lot more than what he got paid. It was only like $6 million for like a 10-year deal, and that was towards like after they won like their first championship. It was crazy. Yeah. But like Scottie Pippen took a massive pay cut for them. But all right, let's move on to the next topic. Was the Cubs and the Brewers had a little bit of an issue. The bench is cleared in the second game after the Cubs won the first game 5-3, and then in the second game the Cubs were up. I think it was 9-0, or I think it was 8-0 at the time, or 7-0. It was either 7-0 or 8-0. And Andrew McCutchen got beaned because Ian Happ in the first game. It was in the second game. Ian Happ got hit by a pitch in his knee, and nobody knows the extent of his injury. But Ian Happ's hurt. Ian Happ is the heart and soul of the Cubs now. As a Cubs fan, he is their team now after the fire sale of last year. Cubs pitcher beaned Andrew McCutchen, literally the first pitch in the next inning because of what happened. Bench is cleared. Everybody got into a little brawl, a little melee ensued. Wilson Contreras got hit with the bat. The catcher got hit with the bat. So here's my question. Why do players and teams not expect a reaction to intentionally throwing at another team and then not expect a reaction to get thrown back at? Same thing with Kevin Kiermaier when he stole the scouting report from the catcher like a year ago when he slid in the home plate and he picked up the scouting report. And literally the next game, they beaned him. Why would you not expect the repercussions? And that's the thing. And it's like, why are teams, grown men should be able to realize this. You played the game the whole time. I'm aware, probably you guys are aware, that if you intentionally hurt a star player and throw at him, another player is going to get thrown at.
That's what makes baseball great.
No, but why are players not aware of that?
Oh, I don't know.
I think they are.
They didn't watch baseball.
Yeah, why are they not aware of that? But
I think they're aware. I just don't think they care.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that like teams don't expect repercussions. Just like the whole thing with the no homer after the seventh inning if you're up by 7 or more runs. Like, what are you? The other team not supposed to come back? Are you just not going to try to get a rally in the 7th or 8th inning? Like, are you giving up? Like,
my favorite's like when somebody's got a no hitter. And the guy like tries, the third baseman's playing way back, obviously, to
and he
cut
bunts
off the angles, and he bunts. Your job is to get a hit. My job as a hitter is to get on base. I don't care how I do it. I'll lean into a fastball and get hit. I just don't. I've never understood the hit. I did. I got a hit.
Yeah. He broke up a no hitter with a bunt, So I got a great story about that actually. I was playing Little League. It was my first year in Little League, and I know this is a Little League story, but it is what it is. There was a guy that was on my team that did play semi-pro baseball. He played in Single A for the Giants organization. His name was Joseph Montori. Great pitcher, threw over 90 miles an hour once he got to high school. Well, in Little League, this dude was throwing almost 80, like 70 or 80 miles an hour from the Little League mound. This dude had a perfect game with 2 outs left, literally 2 outs left, right, in the 6th inning. A player bunted and got on base, and just everything you can imagine just ensued. Like, there was parents getting mad, throwing stuff on the field. And here I am at second base, just just standing there, just playing second, watching stuff at 9 years old, watching people throw stuff on the field. Parents, coaches are getting mad. Everything just kind of happened and just went downhill from there. And I'll never forget Joe just falling onto the ground, just sitting there, just demoralized. And I'm like, bro, get the last out. Stop. We're only up by 2. Get the last out. Bro, anything can happen. And this thing can hit a bomb. And now we're tied. Dude, get the last out. We'll worry about it later. So he struck the next dude out. We got into the dugout. and the dude was just so mad that a dude bunted on him and got broke his no hitter. And I'm like,
Yeah.
What'd you want him to do? Just accept defeat? Like why do people do that? Like why is the world turning into games where like you accept defeat, or like you're supposed to lay down, where they expect you to lay down and be like, oh, this is supposed to happen? It's just like and I hate to compare this to this, but it's just like the wrestling industry where people don't let people go over, like the Hulk Hogan incidents that's always happened, where he's just like never wants to lose. Like, dude, pave the way to new future. Like, it's the same thing, but like crazy to me. But all right, let's go into my favorite thing, because then we get to hear Ashton complain or talk or tell a story or whatever. Let's go into my favorite subject, or my favorite time of the night. A little bit of Screech talk.
Yeah, let's learn something.
Yeah, let's learn something new, because you said.
Well, I had one planned, but we mentioned it, and it was just the fact that we keep recycling in the NBA specifically. There was some, I can't remember her name. She's got a weird last name, but she was the first female minor league coach. I think for the Yankees organization, I want to say. But my beef is, if there's a sport that a woman can coach and get the proper credit for, it would be NBA. There's not that many coaches. Yep. Football, you got 1,000 coaches. Baseball is too, like, it's going to be a while.
Baseball's got a lot of coaches.
It's going to be a while for there's a female baseball coach, just because of the hierarchy. But I mean, it's time to give some of these, and there's not but one or two of them now, but there's no reason why Becky Hammon shouldn't have a coaching job coming up this year. There's too many. I mean, if Tyronn Lue gets another coaching job after this one, or name one of the other 15 coaches that keep getting recycled, like, come on, what are we doing? Somebody ball up. And I know I hate to say that, being we're talking about a female coach, but somebody man up and hire her, and just let her go. Give her the reins and let her go with it. That was mine. And I know we hinted on it earlier, but
yeah, it's funny you should say that, because like I've said it for years as a Spurs guy, and I really think the Spurs don't want her to leave, because like they want her to take over for Popovich, and it's the perfect organization.
I think that's exactly what it is.
It's the perfect organization. Anyway. I'm hoping it is too, because she's going to do phenomenal, and I would love for Becky Hammon. If there's anybody listening, when Greg Popovich retires, can Becky Hammon please be on the Spurs still? Like, please, anybody listening, please. Okay, all right. That's my, because, or if Becky Hammon leaves, I would like to see a former Spurs player come back and coach, because like Popovich has been such a good coach that we need to continue the Popovich way. But like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Nate McMillan has had, I think, 50 coaching jobs. Another one was Dwayne Casey. He spent a year with it was his second year with the the Pistons. He was with the Raptors for like 3 years. Tyronn Lue was the other one you mentioned. Tom Thibodeau. Like, Tom Thibodeau had 2 good years in Chicago, and then bounced around the league for like 5 years. Here's the big question. Here's my big question. Was Sean, if you could take a time machine and go back in time and look at the Toronto and look at the Portland Trailblazers options, because they had narrowed it down to Becky Hammon, Chauncey Billups, and I don't know who the other one was, but those were like, they narrowed it down to them. Would you have hired Becky Hammon over Chauncey Billups at this point? Because I would have. I would have.
Looking back, I think I would have. I don't know that I would have done it then, but I know I would have now.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. Same question with the Thunder with Mark Dejenault, and the Magic with Jamal Mosley. Like, I just don't think any of these guys are NBA coaches. Like, they're not NBA coaches. I don't think they're going to be here longer than a flick of the wrist. Like Taylor Jenkins too. Taylor Jenkins with Memphis, he's only got a. Taylor Jenkins is the head coach of Memphis, and I think he's only having success because of his team. I don't think it has anything to do with him, because he missed the playoffs both years last year, and it's like this year it's I don't know, it has anything to do with him. I personally don't think it has anything to do with Taylor Jenkins. It's the NBA. Not a lot of NBA is coach. If it was college, I would say hey, great, the coach makes the team sometimes, but like NBA. I mean, dude, your players kind of can make or break your team. Like and it's hard for players or coaches like James Borrego for the Charlotte Hornets because it's his first head coaching job, and he didn't have a great team, and he missed the playoffs for 4 years in a row, his first 4 seasons, and then this season he finally makes a play-in team at number 10. But it's like Hornets are on the up and rising. They have a promise. They have a future.
They made the play-in tournament last year. They lost to the Pacers.
You're right. The Pacers. You're right. But they haven't had a playoff berth, meaning they haven't actually made the playoffs. They made the play-in tournament, but is the play-in tournament really the playoffs?
No.
So that's a great point to bring up. I'd love to see Becky Hammond be a head coach. Zach, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agreed. I think basketball is the main sport that a female coach could translate to, because for I guess baseball, you have females playing softball, and it's different. It's the same but different. So that's why I think it's going to take a while. And then football, it's like they're pushing for women to be football head coaches or coaches, and it's like for a sport they don't play. I know it's not a big deal, but it's kind of a deal. You know what I'm saying? To not have played the game makes a big difference.
Well, there's another female person that is making headways about being a coach in the NBA, and that's 3-time NBA champion Lisa Leslie. Somebody's talking about Lisa Leslie leaving the WNBA because she's the current head coach of the Sparks, I think. Or no, that's Derek Fisher. My bad. Wherever Lisa Leslie's at, she was a head coach somewhere, and Lisa Leslie is another name that's getting thrown around in the head for an NBA head coach too. With Becky Hammond.
I think the NBA is the only one that can.
And how many more years does Popovich
easily
have?
do it?
The Spurs
a year, 2 years.
Yeah, they have royally sucked, and I know he's the greatest ever.
Yeah, he's gonna be gone.
But
one of, yeah.
I mean, as for San Antonio, how long do you let him ride this out?
I wouldn't. If I'm Greg Popovich, dude, you're ruining your legacy at this point by not yes, you had the most dominant era in 2000s. Your team was
what would it take? What would it take for LA to hire him to steal him away from San Antonio?
Never. It would never happen.
LeBron loves him. He wouldn't go anywhere else. You don't think?
Hell no. He's been there for almost 30, 40 years. No, he's been there 42 years. I don't see any way. I don't see any way.
Money's a hell of a drug.
It is a hell of a drug, but I don't think I think if there's somebody that could get lured to LA, it is a recently retired head coach. And there's my hint. He's a recently retired head coach. And
Lenny Wilkins.
Say who?
Coach Kurchis.
Lenny Wilkins.
No.
Oh.
No. Coach K.
Yeah, I don't think Coach K's gone. I think he's
Coach
done. I think he's tired. He's over it.
Well, speaking of Duke, Nolan Smith left the program and became an associate head coach at Louisville. Thoughts on that one? Just as John Shire was taking over, and on top of that, the 2 people he recruited were the number 1 and number 3 recruit in the entire nation. So now Duke's worried if 1 and 3 are even coming to Duke.
I know, but then they just got that 5-star point guard.
Well, that's for next season. That's for 2023.
Duke will always
be
fine.
But
I mean, no, I understand Nolan's probably. I mean, there's going to be a power struggle next year a little bit, and I with assistants, and I understand him going to Louisville. His dad was he took
the same position. He took the same position that he was going to get at Duke. He became associate head coach. He was going to be an associate head coach at Duke. He was next in line for it. And John Shire.
Yeah.
John Shire and Nate James were the associate head coach this year, or not Nate James.
Yeah.
What is his name? Is it Nate James? Yeah, Nate James.
Yeah,
were the associate head coaches, and Nolan Smith was going to move up to associate head coach. Now Duke's got to fill 2 assistant spots. They got to find an associate head coach and an assistant. So it's he was going to move up and get promoted. But I understand. I think Nolan recognized that John Shire is going to be there for a while, so he didn't have an opportunity of advancement past that. So I think with the Louisville spot, because him becoming next in line, I think he has the opportunity to advance to Louisville. Like, I think he has the opportunity to become the head coach at Louisville. And I think that's where he was thinking, which is a great thing for him.
Duke missed an opportunity, I think. I know they hired that guy from Elon, I think.
Duke did?
The head coach for Elon, they hired him as the assistant or the associate head coach. But they should have gone. I tell you, a great basketball mind. If you've heard him talk, is Shane Battier. Like how he in coaching, like he needs to be on that sideline somewhere, and he'd be a great ambassador for Duke. Not that I care, but he is just a genius when it comes to basketball. And I might be below. He might think of that as below him now, but I mean, I feel like it's hard to be the man replacing the man. So you don't know how successful Shire's going to be. But you know, it's hard. It's hard to be that guy replacing the guy. Usually, those guys don't last that long, but we'll see.
See, also another head coaching move in college was Shaheen Holloway, the head coach of St. Peter's, left for Seton Hall.
Oh yeah, you saw that coming.
Yeah, but like, dude, it's just like, why Seton Hall?
that was his. He played for Seton Hall.
Did he?
When Seton Hall, he was the point guard when Seton Hall last went to the Final Four. I want to say.
So like, Seton Hall. It's like you're going from one 15 seed to another 15 seed.
I know you wouldn't remember this. Y'all wouldn't remember this because y'all both young. But back in the '80s, man, Seton Hall was the deal. They were the Big East powerhouse every year, like top 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. They were good.
15.
Now they're
15.
They got shuffled around.
Hopefully Shaheen Holloway can turn that around and make him into an 8 seed.
No, probably not.
We'll see. All right, well, let's end off with some NFL news. Really quickly, what's been going around the league, besides, Bruce Arians retiring and Todd Bowles becoming the head coach of the Buccaneers. First of all, I haven't had your thoughts on this, Ashton. Me and Zach have talked about it briefly. But what are your thoughts on Bruce Arians deciding to retire? Was there something behind the scenes that caused it with Tom Brady and Todd Bowles being hired instead of Brian Leftwich? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely think there was something behind the scenes. That doesn't make any sense at all for you to be the head coach, and then when Brady comes back saying, "Oh, I'm going to take a job upstairs," that sounded like to me that was maybe an ultimatum from Brady. But I don't know. I think Brady. I don't. This is deep conspiracy theorist here, but I think Brady was like, "I don't want to lose." I think Brady likes Byron Leftwich. And so I think he wants him calling the plays, which when you're an NFL coach, it's a little more difficult to call the offensive plays as it is in college than it is in college. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't think Arians said, "Oh, I'm probably the second highest favorite in the NFC to make it to the Super Bowl. Nah, I don't want any part of it. I'm going to go take a an office job." Something's going on there.
I agree. I agree. If I had to bet money on it, I would say the same thing you just said. I think Brady probably, said, "Hey, I don't want to play if he's coaching. That's one reason why I'm coming back." And then another Brady rumor was that he retired because he was going to buy buy the Dolphins and was going to be a player owner. Like he was going to QB for the Dolphins and own the team. It was like what?
I saw that they were.
How much truth do you think there is to that?
Oh, 0. I think
first,
I would say 0. Yeah, Tampa Bay is a much better team than Miami. Why in the world would you want to go and play in
down
Miami?
The street?
I mean, why would you want to go play in Miami? You're not you're on a worse team. I don't know.
Way worse.
Yeah.
I guess the image before Devontae Parker got traded to the Patriots, by the way, was Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, what's his name, Tyreek Hill, and Mike Gesicki, and maybe the idea of Gronk joining that tight end tandem or that receiver tandem. Yeah, the offensive line ain't there, but with Brady under helm, I think he would have been like, "What the hell? Get under gear!" It's but any offensive line really with Brady, like they step up sometimes and play well.
You don't need. I think Brady makes an offensive line good because
Brady also got picked up. I think it was Shaq Thompson or Shaq. Not Shaq Thompson. What's his name? the right tackle for the Patriots.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
he got picked up by the Patriots to replace Ali Marpet. So Ali Marpet's not coming back, which kind of stinks because I'd like to see Ali Marpet back because Brady was, because I mean we lost Alex, Shaq Mason. My bad. Shaq Mason was who is who it was. We required right guard Shaq Mason to replace Ali Marpet, which is good because then it gives Brady that offensive lineman to protect him. So the real question is because he needed an offensive line, and I think that's one reason why he came back. So with that said, any other NFL news or any kind of news you guys want to talk about that I didn't say or anything?
Nothing's really been happening, I don't think. Nope.
I do remember Jim Irsay. I forgot about this. This was something that we were going to talk about a week ago before, we took a little hiatus, because internet issues, cough, cough. But look, I'm smiling. He can't even hold it. Look, Jim Irsay. Yeah. Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, came out and called the Carson Wentz era a complete mistake because he questioned Carson's leadership after the loss versus the Jaguars. Because the Jaguars were like 0-6 or 0-7 at the time, and the Colts lost to them. And the Colts were 4-2, I think, at the time. And, the Colts had some injuries, but, he questioned his leadership. He called it a mistake. Is that fair to Carson Wentz? Because, Carson Wentz had a decent year last year. He didn't have a bad season. We talked about it. He threw 30-7.
Yeah, he's going to wish he had Carson Wentz. I mean, that's just why.
Matt Ryan.
The guy gave you a 30-7, and you didn't play. Your defense didn't play as well as it did the year before. I mean, there was a lot of things that went on in Indy. You caught lightning in a bottle with a running back, which he's going to be a franchise guy, it looks like. But it's like, calm down. I mean, the dude didn't lose any games.
Yeah, that makes sense. And now we got to get the tragic news out of the way. We were going to do this first, but we decided to hold it to the end of the show. The tragic news yesterday of Steelers quarterback Dwyane Haskins passed away yesterday in an accident. Literally hours after he did a workout with was it Najee Harris?
It was the whole offense pretty much.
Yeah, he did a workout with the whole offense, and he posted on his Instagram story. And hours later, I don't really know exactly what happened. I know he got hit by a dump truck.
They said he was on the way to the airport to come back to Pittsburgh.
So was he walking or was he in his car?
His car broke down. When he went to get out on the highway, it came and hit him.
So it sideswiped him. So tragic news about Dwyane Haskins passing away. Young guy. I think he was only 23, 24 years old.
24.
Spent a couple seasons with the Redskins. And he had a bright future ahead of him. I thought me and Zach talked about it a couple months ago that we thought Dwyane Haskins was going to take over before they signed Trubisky. And it could have been the case that he could have started over Trubisky this year. It was right there. They could have. Yeah, who knows what his life could have been. So for that reason, starting at 1 minute and 20 seconds here, I'm watching the little clock countdown for me. His jersey number was 7, so we're going to have 3 minutes of silence just for a honorary memory of Dwyane Haskins. All right, thank you guys for that. And my deepest condolences to the Haskins family and anybody, any of his close friends and his relatives, as well as his immediate family members, girlfriend, wife, kids, whomever he had. And my deepest condolences to the Steelers Nation for their loss. Well, that about does it for this episode. Who wants to sign us off this week?
You know what? I'll take the reins.
Take the reins. Go for it.
Well, I don't even know how to do this.
Let's give it a
I guess
shot.
we'll see you guys next week. You can we can plug all of our socials here at Ashley might need to help me with this one. At the Double A to Z Sports Show
On Twitter and on Instagram.
Twitter and Instagram. There it is. And yeah, we'll catch you guys Thursday. Friday. I'll catch you Thursday.
Yeah, you catch me Thursday. They'll catch us on Thursday. And stay tuned again for the announcement about the NBA 2K series, hopefully coming soon, where me and Zach will take over as a executives of an expansion team. So see how that kind of unfolds with a little twist to it. Ashton may or may not be involved some way. We'll figure that out. As first time Ashton's probably hearing about it, thrown on the spot, but
I'll be the Bruce Arians upper management.
he was supposed to be the coach, and then he just said, "Hey, I don't want to coach. I'll just take an upper echelon job." And we're like, "Okay." So our star player RJ Barrett said he didn't want to work with you, I guess, but we'll figure that out. Well, until next time, we'll see you guys on Friday. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Double A to Z Sports Podcast. Please leave a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for more content.
He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his fifth! What a comeback!